The neck, which is the top part of the spine, the cervical spine, composed of 7 individual vertebrae. It allows the head to move and swivel all about. For one reason or another, due to sleeping in a bad position and or injuries, sometimes the neck can get a little bit tight. That's when people start to stretch their necks. The two main stretches that people will look into doing will be head rolls and neck pulls. While these two stretches are pretty good and there's nothing inherently wrong about them, the only issue here is 99.9% of people are taught how to do it wrong, and therefore 99.9% of people, when doing it, will do it improperly. For the neck rolls, you're probably taught to let your head hang down and let gravity do most of the work as you move it in a circle. While not bad, not the best. For the neck pose, you're probably taught to let your head hang over to the side. And then, if you wish for an even greater stretch, you can pull it downwards with the hand. Not bad, but could be better. I want to teach you how to actually go ahead and stretch your neck properly and more efficiently than you ever had in your entire life, more or less. At the end of this, I'll also add in some strength exercises because strength along with flexibility is key for that healthy body. Let's get started. First things first, you gotta take it seriously. It's not a joke, it's your body. Even though stretching is conventionally seen as something nice and relaxing, for the purposes of this video and moving onward, stretching is something that we will do with great high intentions and intent and effort. Let's start with learning how to neck pull because it very easily translates to head rolls. Let me ask you a question. Can you tell the difference when I do this versus when I stretch my neck like this? I'll do it one more time. Here's the first one, and here's the second one. If you couldn't tell the difference, the first one is your traditional neck pull, where you go ahead and let the head fall over to your side. The second one is how you're supposed to do it. You see, with the second one, the head does not drop over to the side. In fact, it almost does the opposite. What we are doing is extending the neck upwards towards the sky. This pulls the muscle apart and immediately you will feel a difference as if you never stretched it before. If you add enough extension, you'll even start to feel it at the bottom of your skull. Give it a try, give it a try, give it a try. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the head falling over to the side is totally pointless. We just have to adjust it a tiny bit. Originally, the method is done with one hand to pull the head down even lower. The problem with this is it drags the head and the body away, ruining the extension that we have created. Worry not, the solution is simple. While the neck is being pulled by extension, we'll make the head rotate. One hand is placed on the side of the skull, while the other hand is placed on the opposite side up towards the top of the jaw. Apply extension with the neck and then rotate the head using both arms. The bottom hand will prevent the head from flopping over while the top hand continues the rotation and increases the stretch on the neck. If you are curious as to why the bottom hand is not on the chin, the answer is simple. Because the chin can move back and forth, if you do it this way, you get a mouth that's a little bit crooked when you go ahead and rotate the head. Instead, to prevent that crooked jaw, move that hand upwards towards the top of it where it's less mobile. It's also more comfortable this way while yielding the same results, if not better. That was the side of the neck. Let's talk about the front. Typical wisdom says to knock it back and let the head drop. No, for all the reasons I explained about going to the side. Instead, we'll replicate what we did to the side, except to the front. Extension going straight up to the sky will allow the neck muscles to elongate. For comparison, this is me tossing my head back, and this is me elongating my neck. One more time, this is me tossing my head back, and this is me elongating that neck. A cue you can use, if you like, is to jut that chin up and outwards at a 45-degree angle. For me, this is plenty of stretching going on for the front of the neck. However, if you want an additional 10%, close your mouth so that your teeth are 100% touching one another. And then place one hand at the bottom of your chin while placing the other one at the back of your head. You're gonna go ahead and apply the stretch or the extension and then pull your head upwards using both hands. If you try to do this with one hand only, let's say the bottom hand, then your head will simply just fly up and backwards. If you only use the top hand, then your head will fall downwards. By combining the two, the forces counter out one another and allows your head to be pulled upwards at an angle for a little bit more extension. I personally don't necessarily find this to be that more additionally beneficial, but your body, your hands, you do you. We touched on the side neck stretch and the front neck stretch. All that's left is back. You might think that I would say something along the lines of don't look down, instead just extend the back of the neck towards the sky. You aren't wrong, but the thing about the back of the neck is, due to the spine being a slight S curve, in order to get the most stretch from the back, we want to put it into flexion as much as possible, creating the greatest amount of curvature as possible. To implement that, we're gonna push that chin into our head and then look downwards. The only downside about doing this is it feels like your throat is getting slightly crushed. From here, bracing the bottom of your chin using one hand and placing your other hand on top of your head. As the top hand pushes down, the bottom hand pushes upwards. This action will stretch muscles you didn't know could be stretched. For all these stretches, I do recommend that you start with subtle pressure and then slowly build it up as you become more and more accustomed to it. Now that we know how to stretch to the side, front, up, back, down, the whole head basically, let's talk about how to go about and do some head rolls. A very good stretch to just loosen things up, and therefore when we're doing this, I won't put too much effort into it. Instead, I'll just tell you the two methods to go about it that I think you should know, and you should definitely try both. The first one is that typical spinning your head around in a circle on your neck. While it's very good, can release things up and is relaxing, there is one more method I would like to let you know about. The second one that we can play with, and the one that I do prefer, is splitting up this full head roll motion up into its two individual parts. By allowing the head to tilt downwards and gravity pushing it down, we can tilt it left and right, messing around with that first half of the full head roll. And then by tossing the head back and doing the exact same thing, moving it left and right, without ever completing that full circle, we can mess around with the second half of the head roll. I do much prefer this method as opposed to the first one. And while we're doing these head rolls, we can go with two levels of intensity. One is very lazy and relaxed, as I'm showing, where my head is just basically allowing gravity to do whatever it wants with it. The second level of intensity is what we have already learned throughout this entire video, and that is to put some extension into the neck as you go ahead and you make it move through its ranges of motion. Try both and see which one you like. Start with the relaxed one first if you want to try both, and then transition into the more extended variation if you are going to go about it. Okay, so that is more or less on how we go about stretching the neck. Did you know that strength is so important for damn near everything? The stronger you are, the harder it is to get injured. All of this neck can be strengthened and should be, especially if you have some chronic neck issues. While stretching is great and awesome and can deliver relief, a chronic problem can be remedied with chronic strength. Let's hop into the neck exercises that you can do. All you need is a sofa or bed, just something to keep you off of the ground. We'll begin with the safest and easiest form of neck strengthening, known as the neck extension. Laying on your stomach belly down and with your head over the edge, simply start with your head downwards. With your head downwards, slowly extend it upwards. There's no need to maximally extend the neck. Somewhere around parallel to a little bit above is more than enough. Once you are there, you're gonna go ahead and lower it down with control and repeat the motion. The tempo will be nice and slow. No jerky motion, and consistent motion is nice. Feel free to hold it slightly at the top for 1 or 2 seconds if that is a little bit better feeling for you. Though it may look simple and easy, if you've never done this type of exercising before, you're sure to feel it in your muscles right away. Flipping onto your back and allowing your head to drop down, we now enter neck curls. When we are doing these, go as high as is comfortable for you without crushing your throat. Lower yourself back down with control and repeat, very similar to neck extensions. This will strengthen the front of your neck. Lastly, lay on your side and dip your head down to the ground. From here, simply bend it all the way back up to as high as is comfortable for you and repeat the motion in the same vein as the other two. Obviously, since we're on our side, we're gonna do both sides, so don't forget. Doing 10 reps per exercise, starting with neck extensions, moving to neck curls, and then neck side bends for both sides, followed by a 1 to 2 minute rest and repeating for 3 to 4 sets is a really darn good place to start. 2 things to keep in mind, and do keep these things in mind. 1, don't go fast with these. Slow control with a nice tempo is exactly what we want. And 2, when we near the bottom position of each of these neck exercise movement, we don't ever want the head to be fully relaxed. We want to keep that tension. Time under tension is key to building strength, and more importantly, with the muscles constantly engaged, it will keep the head nice and safe. Not to say that you can't relax in these positions, just that if you do, do it intentionally, But while you're strengthening it, we don't really want any of that. With all of that being said, you can go ahead and take this information and make your neck feel a whole lot of better. Now you know.